thriving in the Abaco Islands.
5 young boys create a rescue trampoline.
The first to run a marathon in under 2 hours.
We have seen what we thought was unseeable.
A relay of dogs will lead blind runner Tom Panic across the finish line.
Nicolas Mahut lost in the French Open, but then his 7-year-old son ran onto the court to give his dad a big hug.
Her and her sister have been heroes for many little girls out there.
I want to thank my amazing mom. She's my hero.
I love you.
Exactly what I was thinking.
When you are free to be you, it is the best feeling in the world.
He's the Sully Sullenberger of pizza.
My family is making a grant to eliminate their student loans.
We know deep down what's right and what's needed.
I'm going to fight this.
Who says I can't? Nobody! Here it comes. Never been done in competition.
The category is love, y'all. Love!
Use your heart, your courage and vision to fix, to heal, to empathize, to connect. Because living life for something bigger than yourself is a hero's journey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Wisner, the host of PowerUp Hero. I'm so excited that you're here. This is a show all about being the hero of your story. You know, PowerUp Hero for me is, I feel like it's my life's work because it's all about living a powered up life. Because let's face it, living your best life and juggling a busy workload can be close to impossible. And every day we are reminded that you don't know what's coming. So sometimes it can feel that just to get through it, you have to pull unimaginable superpowers from who knows where. And for those of you who are joining and actually have power right now, here in Corpus Christi, Texas, we finally have water, right? So the water boil effect was lifted. We're super excited about that. We had to pull superpowers, and I want to give a huge shout out to my dear sister. She did not have power for way longer than the rest of Corpus Christi did, so she's been a trooper for us. So for those of you who are just like her, who just recently got their power back, welcome back to the world of electricity. And, you know, this show is really about letting you know that you are a hero. Everything that you do every single day, from the moment you throw those covers off, is really a true testament to how we should be living our lives. We should really be seeing things that change as opportunities for growth. So hopefully this situation we went through recently this week, where we had this tundra that happened here in our community unexpectedly, is an opportunity for you to see how expect the unexpected should really be your modus operandi, right? So your method of operation should be, I don't know what's coming, but I will prepare for it, because our world needs heroes today more than ever before. Being a power-up hero is all about also being a celebrated leader in our community. And so this show is all about bringing you stories about the heroes that we have nominated, the mission they are on, and also about how they are living their best lives as agents of change in our community. So this show is not only for you watching right now, but I hope that you can share it with your family, your friends, your community, anybody who you want to be an agent of change. I hope you share it with them. And I hope through this show that we are helping you become the best version of yourself as you learn about our guests today. So today I am so excited because we are elevating the spotlight, shining a huge spotlight on a person who is a pillar in our community. I have to say that when I joined the city of Corpus Christi in 1999, I just came across a lot of individuals who were doing amazing stories. And I can tell you, one of the people who I was hearing about is the person you're seeing right now in front of you, Coretta Graham. She is our guest today. And for me personally, the excitement that I have about interviewing her is beyond what I can imagine, because I had been hearing about Coretta before I actually met her. And then when I met her, I feel like I was intimidated or nervous. I don't know. I felt like I was meeting a rock star, but she was just so cool and calm. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to try to crush on her. But this is a crush I have in our community. And so I'm so excited that she's on our show today. And so for those of you who are watching, I know that some of our heroes that we've had in our show, they inspire us with joy. Some of us give us excitement, and some of us actually make us cry, you know? And so I'm hoping that through this show today, that you're going to see that as we're going through our heroic journey, our strength is really on how we're able to persevere. Because our Power Up Hero today is all about giving you the tools and resources necessary so you can power up and be undefeated regardless of the circumstances. So our guest is Coretta Graham, and she is a graduate of the Thurgood Marshall School of Law and has been an attorney for over 20 years. So I'm just going to read a little bit of her bio for you. Her practice includes criminal law, family law, and probate law. She's a true trailblazer in our community and as a local activist volunteering with several organizations, including Junior League of Corpus Christi, the Corpus Christi Black Chamber of Commerce. Go Black Chamber, I'm a member of them as well. American Red Cross, and I think she may have just been elected to an office in the Black Chamber, so she can tell us about that. NAACP, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, and since 2018 has served as the first African American Democratic Party chair of Nueces County. She's, I guess, through Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, she's a member of what we call the Divine Nine. And so everybody watching, I am so excited to bring to you our Power Up Hero of Activism, my crush for today, Coretta Graham. How are you doing, Coretta?
So I need to let you do my intro, my press releases.
Oh my God. Okay. So I kind of feel like I was being kind of vulnerable there because I knew about you before I met you. And then when I met you, you sort of intimidated me to the point where I couldn't even introduce myself to you, but I was crushing on you so hard, and I continue to. I think in our community, there's people I see and I film everything they're doing, and I literally have hundreds of pictures of you, I think. So I just have to tell you that I absolutely love everything you do in our community. I'm feeling goosebumps because I feel like I aspire to have the strength and resiliency you have in our community. So here on the Power Up Hero Show, congratulations on being our Power Up Hero of Activism, and thank you for accepting this invitation.
Thank you for having me. I'm like, it's weird because I look at you as someone who's very inspiring to me. So I think like what you're doing, you know, having bringing, you know, technology to your native African country is amazing to me.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. You know, I don't think a lot of people realize that the mission of Power Up is bridging the digital divide. You know, like every dollar we get, you know, gets transported somehow back to my home country, Kenya. And, you know, the most disadvantaged communities are not as connected. And I always believed when I was going through my studies that if you can give a person an internet connection and a laptop, they can take over the world, like literally. So that's my mission, is to put as many people connected to technology. So thanks for bringing that up. All this fluff, all these shows, this is just a way for us to be able to get funding to bridge the digital divide. So thanks for bringing that up, Coretta. It's really, it feels good to hear you say that.
Yeah, I met you years ago when I was working with the North Side Committee.
Yeah.
And you had that program for the kids.
Yes, Texas Techies.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that was the beginning, you know. I think for me, I kind of fell into this community engagement role that I feel like I have. And it kind of came to me as a surprise. And so I'm excited to be in it. But hey, this show is all about you. So I know that a lot of people may not know who you are. We introduced you as an attorney, family law, criminal law. So I want you to tell us, Coretta, who are you? What do you do for a living? How do you serve our world?
Wow, that's heavy. I'm a Black woman. I have Native American heritage, but I was raised as a Black woman. My great grandmother was a Native American. I remember meeting her when I was a little kid. But I served the community as a lawyer activist, lifetime member of the NAACP. That's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So I'm also active in politics because I think everything you do or don't do has political impact in your life. So I've been active since I was high school with Future Business Leaders of America and everything else I could get into. So that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. So I guess you spoke a little bit about having Native American heritage, and then also you started to talk about your childhood. So I want to ask you to just paint a picture for us. What was Coretta Graham like when she was growing up? You were a young kid, maybe, I don't know what you were doing. Were you in Corpus Christi? Were you in another city? Tell us about your life growing up.
A young Coretta was living in New Jersey. My family migrated, as a lot of Black families did, migrate from the South, because my mom was born in South Carolina. But she, along with a lot of other her siblings, they migrated north, and my mother landed in New Jersey. So I was born in New Jersey, Englewood, New Jersey. Went to Lincoln Middle School, which no longer exists because they went and built an apartment complex in its place. But I was a latchkey kid, and then there was after school we would have we would go to the community center because my mom worked. She was a single mom, and so she was a nurse, and so she worked long hours.
So you grew up in New Jersey, and then how did you get to Corpus Christi?
I ended up it's weird. It was definitely by happenstance. I came to Texas for law school because at the time I had graduated Douglas College, Rutgers University, went back home and started looking for work. At the time I thought I was going to go to medical school, but I didn't want to do that. And so I started working, ended up applying for law schools, got accepted into Thurgood Marshall School of Law here in Houston. Then I moved to Houston. And so I lived in Houston for like 7 or so years. And then I took a job in Austin with the Attorney General's office. And so, but that wasn't working out because you only got paid once a month. And I was like, this ain't gonna work. I need more than one. I need a paycheck at least twice a month. But but one of the reasons why I took that job was for loan forgiveness opportunities, but that didn't pan out. So I was like, I need to find something else. So it was weird. I was just searching for a job and always wanted to be a prosecutor. So I interviewed down here one day. I think that was back in 2002, somewhere around there, and got hired at the local DA's office here in Nueces County and just moved down here, packed up all my stuff in a U-Haul and moved on down on a wing and a prayer. Because I moved in the day after the city got hit by a tornado.
Oh, wow.
It was weird. It was like right after I moved out of Houston, they got hit with a major flood. And I was like, well, Lord, I guess you trying to tell me I'm on the right track.
Oh, my goodness. Can I tell you something, Coretta?
What?
Okay. Here I am in Kenya. Then a FedEx package comes in, and it's a scholarship to Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Nobody knows where Corpus Christi is. So my mom is like, I'm taking you there because this may be a human trafficking thing. So then she brings me here to Corpus Christi. We fly from Kenya to Corpus. Coretta, that weekend, there's a hurricane in Corpus. That was my welcome to Corpus Christi. And we had to, I didn't even know what I will say a bad word. I didn't even know what a hurricane was. literally didn't know what it was. And then the sky was black, and the coach says, we got to drive to San Antonio. It was crazy. So you came to Corpus under the kind of like the same angst of like, what's going on? And what are we doing here?
Well, you know what? The one thing I can say about Corpus Christi is that it has a small town feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Certain aspects of it are very small town, and that's what I grew up with back in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So that was familiar to me. It was a familiar feeling to me. So I figured, you know, as long as I find me a good black church to attend, I'll be okay, because they know where everything is.
So which church do you go to here in Corpus Christi?
I go to St. John Baptist Church on Greenwood. Pastor is Dr. Derek E. Reeves.
I think everyone goes there, and I have never visited that church, so I need to go visit that church. One of my friends, Cameron Toth, is on right now, and so thank you so much for coming on, Cameron. So Cameron's going to be on our show coming up pretty soon, so we appreciate you being on the show so much. So my next question for you is, in terms of law, what made you go into law? I think we heard a little bit about you growing up as a child, and then, you know, you ended up being here in Texas and getting your education there. But why law? Why didn't you go for medical school like you were going to?
I changed my mind about medical school because I took a summer program at, I think, University of St. Louis. They don't have the program anymore. And it was like intense exposure to what doctors go through in medical school, like working with cadavers. And I was like, ooh, this is too much. I don't think that's my calling. Okay. Yeah. So I said, ooh, thank you, Jesus, for letting me having this experience. So
did you like go there? Like you went in a room with cadavers there?
Yeah, well, the University, I think, of St. Louis is connected to a hospital. So as part of the program, you were teamed up with an actual doctor. I had two, and they were in the field of oncology. So you're dealing with cancer patients. And so you got to see, it was weird because I had two doctors, and you got to see how both of them interacted with patients.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember to this day being on the elevator, and this gentleman was, I was in the room when he had a spinal tap, which is intense. And that's when they, you know, they go in and take out your spinal fluid. And that, I can't even imagine the pain someone have to go through, you know, when they get that kind of testing. And so he was on that, we were on the elevator, and he was like, were you in the room? Did you see me? And I lied to him. I was like, no.
What?
I was like, I don't know what to say to this dude. I have that whole experience just looked painful. I wasn't even going to admit that I was there.
So that's when you knew not medical school.
Well, it just wasn't my calling because I didn't like working with the dead bodies, but
yeah.
It just
wasn't. I remember
you smell like formaldehyde.
Yeah. I remember going to I have never had an aspiration for ever being a doctor. I feel like there's people for that, right? There's people who care about touching bodies and like blood, right? But I think I appreciate that. But at the same time, I remember going on a tour of Texas A&M College Station. And part of the tour was to visit their medical school and go into the room with the people who donate their bodies for medical research. And I remember thinking, that's the part of the tour that I am not going to, you know? I don't even know why. Like, I just did not want to go. So I totally hear you. I hear what you're saying. Now, somebody did message me and ask me, why are you in your car? So maybe tell us, because I know where you are. And I was afraid to go because of COVID. But you are at an amazing event, right? Tell us where you are right now.
I'm in the parking lot of where the Coral Bean Cafe is, a Black-owned establishment, and they work a lot with lots of art, which is Evelyn Cooper, and she has a African attire shop. Or
Yes, lots of art. She is all about
lots of art, and
living
so
your authentic life.
yeah.
Yes.
She sponsored a Black History program that's from 2 to 5. So I was in there until, I had to meet with Liza. Is it Liza or Lisa?
It doesn't matter. I like all the pronunciations of my name. Lisa.
Until I had to meet with Lisa. So that's why I'm in my car, because I figure I may not get home in time to talk to y'all from a laptop. So that's why.
Yes, and that's perfect.
So when I'm finished, I'm go back in here. But this is why I'm here.
Yes. So Valerie is asking, is this in Corpus Christi? Yes, it is.
It's in Corpus, near Yorktown.
Yes, here on Yorktown. So the Coral Bean Cafe is a brand new cafe. Actually, not brand new, but it's a newer cafe, and it's Black owned here in Corpus Christi. And they're actually hosting a Black History Month celebration today, hosted by our friend Evelyn Cooper, who owns lots of art, and Tammy Donaldson, right? Francis?
Yeah, she go by Tammy Francis now.
Tammy Francis, I apologize. And Dr. Tammy, as I know her, she is the host of the event, right? So she's kind of like moderating the entire event. So I'm going to kind of keep going with our questions, because I feel like you need to get back in there if you can, right? So I know that my friend Melvin Lars is on the show watching right now, and he says that he hopes that, I guess, the bone marrow transplant I hope that it's not as painful as having a bone marrow aspiration. I don't know what that is, Melvin, but that sounds painful. Aspiration. Oh my goodness. And so it sounds like they're taking the bone marrow out of your body. We have lost Coretta, so hopefully she's going to be able to jump back on the show. But before she jumps back on the show, I just want to tell you all that we have Coretta Graham, who is our PowerUp Hero of Activism. And the reason why is because she is such a pillar in our community. I think one of the things that I'm always grateful for her about is that she's unrelenting in her cause of making sure that all voices are heard. And I just feel like I wanted to unpack that onion of how did she get into being an advocate in terms of being an attorney, being a lawyer, because I think that is truly, when you think about justice for all, I think that is truly the cause that a PowerUp Hero of Activism would go into, right? So we're talking about being PowerUp heroes, but as heroes, how do you show up as a hero in real life? And in real life, your career choice may actually fit with exactly what your PowerUp Hero would do if they were maybe in a comic book or if they were on a magazine. So I think we may have Coretta back here. Coretta, yay, you're back on. Yay.
Yeah, my phone overheated, so.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. Can I tell you one exciting thing that has happened is it's so warm in Corpus Christi today. Yesterday was freezing, and today it's like 70 degrees, 80 degrees. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So welcome back. So we want to get you back to where you are at. There's a reason why you're in your car.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you the next question, which is, we're actually calling you the PowerUp Hero of Activism. What does that mean to you? What does being the PowerUp Hero of Activism mean to you?
It means that you're basically a person who likes to be engaged with the community engagement, get involved, volunteerism, helping, whether it be your city, your county, your state, your country, on issues that are passionate to you, to help make this world a better place, basically to be a productive citizen.
I love that. Being a productive citizen, and then just pick your cause, whatever it is, and just be a champion for that, right? So the activism part is really about it. I guess the activism part gets activated when you pick what you're passionate about. And I don't know if you're on mute, but we can't hear you. I hope we don't lose you again.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, thank gosh. So I was saying, did you hear what I said? That your activism, you're the PowerUp Hero of activism, and your activism gets activated when you pick your cause.
Yeah, I'm passionate about politics and Black people and women issues and, you know, just things that homelessness, you know, just different issues that have impacted my life. And I'm sorry for the bad lighting, but I don't want my phone to burn up.
That's okay. Just you're holding it now, right? Hopefully you're holding it.
I'm holding it, so I apologize.
That's totally fine. That's okay. You know, I have to say that during this time of COVID-19 pandemics, hello, snowstorms, power outages, you are good, Coretta. However you're showing up right now, you are here and people can hear you, because I think one of the beauties about this show is that we flip it into a podcast. So some people may not be able to see everything we're talking about today. They're going to hear it later. So don't worry about the visuals as much as we appreciate you so much sharing your voice. Your voice is really what we want to be able to hear from you. So I love how you said that. So again, if you have any aspirations of being a PowerUp Hero of activism, pick the cause and then activate it. And we learned right now that Coretta is very focused on homelessness. She's focused on Black people. So I'm glad to hear that. You're Black, I'm Black. Yay, she's for me. She's a woman. Yay. I guess you could say describe myself as a woman. So I have affinity to the female gender. But I think one of the most amazing things for me, though, is regardless of anybody's considerations, right? Whatever characteristics they have, whatever demographics they have, I feel like your position in activism goes beyond that. And so just for a few seconds, I do want to take a little break, because I feel like we do need to celebrate a few people in our community who have been doing amazing work in terms of activism. So just give us just a few seconds for just a short little break where we'll be able to celebrate amazing people in our community.
Our magic is in our love and tears, our fears and our flyness.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Woo, child, tired of the foolish, gone dust your shoulders off. Keep it moving, yeah, slow. Step into some new kicks, in there, swimwear, going to the pool quick. Come now, come dry your eyes. You know you a star, you can touch the sky. I know that it's hard, but you have to try. If you need advice, let me simplify.
Change the world. We've already started.
You must never be defeated, ever.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feel?
I am Black and proud.
The future belongs to all of us. Baby, how you feeling?
Fired up! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! All right!
Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited. Today, we are shedding a spotlight on an amazing PowerUp hero. Her name is Coretta Graham. And we literally just played the video, Coretta, and you may have missed it because I think you dropped off right as the video was coming up. But I want to play it again for you because I think you need to hear it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Fired up! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! Fired up! Fired up! Ready to vote! Ready to vote! All right!
Woo! You are fired up. And I have to tell you, like, I love that video so much because you gave a speech before you did that fired up thing. And can you tell us what it feels like to get people fired up for whatever they want to activate?
Well, it's just something that goes back to, your roots in the church, the chant and the call and chant.
Mm-hmm.
And call and response is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets people motivated. You get that spiritual energy flowing, that positive energy flowing. So people can feel encouraged and motivated to do, the task ahead.
You're so cash about it. Dude, you got everybody in that room like, we're fired up, we're ready to vote. There was just so much going on. And I don't even think it's even about voting. Whatever it is that you have a passion for, you're there, you're front and center, and you're activating people to be powered up about whatever your causes are. I'm so excited that we have Valerie White, who says this is so timely, as I was just watching the movie Selma. And actually, it's so interesting. I actually have the phone number for the mayor of Selma, Alabama, which is so interesting. Mayor Perkins, I need to call you if you're watching. And then we have Miss Maya, who is my cousin. That's so inspirational. Valerie again says, what do you recommend to get fired up in our own? So maybe we can start with that. How can we get fired up on the things that we want to do?
Well, you have to really start with what issues are you passionate about, and do research on what organizations are working around those issues, and then that's a good place to start. Like some people are really some people are really passionate about the environment, and the environment is also an issue that's important to Black people.
Yes.
Because we know how they would, plant these or construct these incinerators. And down here we have oil refineries near Black communities. And so there was a major federal lawsuit, that was won by the citizens who live near these refineries because of all the wind would bring I don't know if it was a red dust or something that was falling on the houses and causing a lot of medical issues. So we know that when you have the issue of food deserts, in our communities, and not getting quality food for our kids, or having to drive miles to, go get some quality, groceries for your family. So it's just a matter of what issues. Just think about, write a list of 10 issues just related to your life that, you can then see what organizations are organizing around those issues, and see if and then you can decide if you want to be a part of that organization.
So write a list of 10 issues and then pick one, right? So don't, I guess, just do all
you
of
can
them.
Start, list of 10, pick one. You may have your top 3. Like for me, it's Black people, because there's just so much with that. And I've been really trying to learn about the real history of African Americans in the United States. Not what we are, not the watered down or the sanitized version. And so it's just been real eye-opening to me. And then the passion of homelessness, because at one point in my life, my family was homeless, and we slept in a car, and I remember that. And then, politics, things like that. So you make a list of 10, and you can start with the first one and go from there.
And actually, Valerie follows up with a question. What do you suggest to get started in our own cities? And I mean, right off the bat, I'm thinking of advisory groups, but what would you do? Like, how do you stay connected? Because sometimes the decisions get made in our local government.
Well, I'm nosy, so I make it my business to go onto the city website to see what commissions or city committees, are available or exist, I should say, what they do, and if there's an opening, apply for it. And so that's just me because I'm naturally curious as a person. My mother had me reading, the Encyclopedia Britannica, used to get it as a set. And so I would go and just read the encyclopedia. But I have a natural curiosity about things and want to look and see, well, what's going on in the city, and who's doing what, who's responsible for what. You can always go online and review city council minutes and actually review because they record those sessions and actually go back and look at, so you got school board, you can go back and look at the minutes. You have Delmar board, county commissioners court, see what they're responsible for, and you can go back and actually look and see, what they've done. So it's just a matter of you just taking that first step and just going online and just looking and see what does the city do, And there's also Leadership Corpus Christi, which is a great program. And that also, if you were able to participate in that program, it gives you basically an overview of everything from the city to the county to the state in different areas, in different subject matter areas.
Boom. I think you kind of hit us with a few action items there. So Valerie, if your community, I think you're in San Antonio, I almost said Corpus Christi. Valerie, by the way, I don't know if y'all know this, but Valerie White is actually our next guest next week. She is a PowerUp hero. So I want to thank her so much for being so gracious with her time and her comments. Thank you so much, Valerie. We cannot wait to celebrate all the awesomeness of Valerie White here on our show next week. Thank you for being here. Another one of our PowerUp heroes is here. I feel like our PowerUp heroes who are so amazing continue to watch this show. We have Melvin Lars, who was our PowerUp hero recently, and he says that he works with George Floyd's uncle. So one of the things about Melvin Lars is he's very connected with the George Floyd family. In fact, he has written, I think, 2 books about George Floyd. And so he talks about, he works with George Floyd's uncle, Saloon Jones, and he asked if he could recommend that he speak with both of us, right? Yeah, I think that would be fair, right? I think I want to hear all perspectives, right?
Sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And Valerie did say yes, she is in San Antonio. So one of the next questions I had for you was, we're calling you the PowerUp hero of activism. And as we know, heroes in the world, they stand up and their superpower may be flying or seeing through walls. But we want to unpack what the PowerUp hero of activism's superpower is. Coretta Graham, what is your superpower?
Love.
Love. That's my superpower too. Okay, so well, obviously I'm not the PowerUp hero of activism. So tell us, how does the PowerUp hero of activism use love?
Well, love will. I think with love you develop a passion for helping others. Because you love your community and you love yourself. That's number one. So you can love others. And if you run into difficulties, you can use love to overcome, any hate or any feelings of negativity.
You are so quotable. You literally wrote the dictionary definition of what it's like to be the PowerUp hero of love, right? You started off with talking about how love translates to your passions, what you care about. So what you activate, right? As PowerUp hero of activism, perfect. And then love for self translates to love, and then love for community, right? So I think loving yourself so much that you care about yourself, and then loving your community so much that you want to activate for it. I love it. I love it.
And I follow the Christian faith, so the word of God has a specific definition for love. So it's an action word. It's not passive.
Yes.
So there has to be some action when you say you love someone. You can't just sit there. You have to have some action behind it.
Ooh, I love that. And I don't know which book it is, or I can't remember, sometimes you forget where you read something or heard something, but there's a book I read and it talked about how can you tell somebody you love them if you yourself can't even say the I? Like, I love you, but if I can't say that I love me, like, how do I know what that means, right? So you first have to start with yourself before you're able to even give that to others. I don't know who said that. Somebody who knows who said that in a book somewhere. It's in a book somewhere. And I loved hearing that because it meant that I needed to focus on myself more, to be able to activate love for other people or the community. I love it. I love it.
Agreed.
Yeah, and one of the things that I want to get you out of here so you can go to your event with our friend Evelyn Cooper and our Dr. Tammy. We're calling you the PowerUp Hero, but you did mention just a few sprinklings of challenges that you faced, and really that is what a heroic story is about. Nobody watches a superhero movie and then the movie is just perfect like a Hallmark show, right? The point is the movie starts and there's challenges and there's things to overcome. So can you tell us maybe what is one of the biggest challenges you've ever faced in your heroic quest to be the PowerUp Hero of activism?
I would say low self-esteem. Basically just not feeling good enough or feeling inadequate, because I was on many occasions I was like the only black face in white spaces, so it could be intimidating at times. And just also a couple with low self-esteem was a sense of lack of self-love, because you feel inadequate and you don't feel like you look a certain way, and that, it was a process to get to the point where, to love your skin color, to love your, your hair texture, and just be okay with that. And really just encourage yourself and through reading books, through music, through programmings, through listening to other people, to really grow a sense of confidence. And there was one book I read called The Bluest Eye by the late Toni Morrison that was instrumental in changing my way of thinking, because a lot of it comes with really a negative thinking about yourself. And that's why it's so crucial that for our young children that we build up a sense of self-worth in them from the time they're born.
I love that answer so much. And Valerie echoes you with, you actually used love in your answer of overcoming challenges. I love that. You talked about the challenge of having low self-esteem and then lack of self-love. You need to love yourself. Looking a certain way. I have some pictures of you. You want to show you?
Look, I am not photogenic, so
yes,
I'm always looking.
I love seeing you in photos. You're so beautiful. That's my Coretta, everybody. You love it. I love her. She's so beautiful. That's my Coretta with who would have been our president, right? I feel like, oh my gosh, Beto, he's coming up the ranks. There's my Coretta again, slaying at a YWCA event. We absolutely love all the things that you do for our community, Coretta. And so as I continue to show more and more pictures of you where I feel like I see you and I'm just like, how can I be this woman? How can I channel this woman's energy? How can we all just activate to the point where we're vibrating for the cause that we believe in, just like Coretta does? I think you're just the most amazingly and most beautiful person. When I see you, I'm just in awe. I can't even talk to you sometimes because I'm just like, oh, How does it feel to know that I don't think you realize this, but I want you to know how much the community loves you, you know? And I need you to know that these pictures are just a few of the hundreds of pictures that are available about how amazingly beautiful and how much of a huge impact you make in our community, not only in politics, but being an attorney and advocating for marginalized communities. And you're so strong in your advocations. Like, I feel like when Coretta shows up, you better have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, because she's gonna take care of it, right? So tell me,
as my confidence grew, you know, you learn how to manage your presence. Because I'm I'm not a short Black woman. I'm almost 6 feet. So you know, I understand when I come in the room, you know, I'm going to get looks, but you have to learn how to master your confidence and your presence in the room. And so how you show up is important, particularly in the type of setting you choose to show up in. And then I would say to just, you know, and being active in your community it gives me joy to do things, to be a part of social activism and trying to make this world a better place in my own small way, try to inspire other people into activism. Because even if I can't get across the finish line, then at least I can motivate someone to go further than me. So we're always progressing as a people and not being stagnant. And I think I want to share with you 2 quotes. I don't know where I learned it.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
We actually have a game we can play where you can share this. I know you shared a book.
Okay.
So for those of you who are watching right now, Coretta was just jumping into it, which she has no idea, by the way. So now we're going to play the Fast 5 Finger Favorites show, and we want you to be a part of it as well. So Coretta, you are jumping straight into it. So I'm going to go there with you. Share with us, as part of your Fast 5 Finger Favorites, what is your favorite quote? Tell us about the quote you were going to talk about.
For you to lead, you have to be a follower. You have to learn how to follow in order to lead. Like leaders, some people think leaders are born. That's part of it. But leaders are also, great leaders are great followers. And it's about having a sense of community, developing a sense of integrity about what you're doing, and follow other people who are great leaders. That way, when it's your turn and when God calls you to lead, it's you know how to do things the right way.
I like how you said followership. Like, learn how to be a follower, so you learn how to be a leader.
Yeah, to be a great leader, you got to learn first how to be a great follower. Because in being a follower, you're part of a team. You learn about teamwork. You learn about working with other personalities. So when you get into the leadership position, you know how to develop, how to interact, because you've been a follower in this organism, I should say.
Yes.
And you learn the organization.
Yes. Oh, Coretta, you're so amazing. Gosh, you just keep like, oh my gosh. Okay, crushing totally, because I feel like organizations, communities, people, it needs to feel like a third person sometimes, like it has a DNA, right? And whatever that DNA is, you have to show up for it. However, it needs you to show up as a support for it. So if you're a follower, be the best follower, because you know what it's like to be on the other side. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And see, and if you're a follower, it also, once you become a leader, you can develop empathy and sympathy, because you've been in their shoes. Because the worst leaders are the ones who are just totally tone deaf because they've never experienced what they're trying to other people to lead. They want other people to go left, but they've never, had that experience.
But then they do the complete opposite. They're like, do this. But then you watch them and you're like, but you're doing that. Like, how are we even on the same page here? You're expecting me to do the thing that you didn't even ask. So Valerie says, you are beautiful, Coretta. And
thank you.
Excellent. Too many wants to lead without following and being able to submit to authority. Leadership is actually followership, right? Because I think as a leader, I always think to myself, the leader should really be in the back, right? Following their flock as they're leading them towards the work that needs to be done, making sure that things are getting done. There's many ways to lead, right? Lead with a vision from the front, but it's hard work, right? And so followership is so important. So fast 5-finger favorites. Let's take it back and ask you, what is your favorite book? As our PowerUp Hero of Activism, what is your favorite book?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. That's one of my favorites. Anything John Grisham.
Oh, yes.
And I used to read Stephen King, but between Stephen King and John Grisham, those books, one is horror and one is suspense. Go figure.
Drama. You're all about the drama. Love it.
But it's entertaining drama to me.
Yeah.
Well, I know with John Grisham's books, because he's a lawyer, or he was a lawyer, his books always have a legal spin on it. Like, and you've seen the movie The Pelican Brief. A couple of the books have already become movies. Like The Pelican Brief.
Yeah.
And it's really like, okay, it's very eye-opening, like The Firm. You're like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I need to be aware of this.
Yeah. I love it. So now you're kind of segueing into our next question, which is, what is your favorite movie or something to watch?
The Matrix 1, 2, 3, and I think they're coming out with 4 and 5. Hopefully.
They are. Oh my gosh, Coretta.
I can't wait. I love Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, yes. The
Matrix. Who can do the Matrix? I can do the Matrix because that's how much I love the Matrix. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, the Matrix is it, y'all. And the Matrix 4 is coming out. It's supposed to come out this year, but COVID, whatever else is going on, who knows what may happen. But you and I, okay, so before the movie comes out, Coretta, we have to host a watch party.
Yes, I'm down for that.
Let's do it.
The Matrix can be a whole topic because there's just so much in that movie, so many undercurrents and themes.
We could have, oh my gosh, we could have talks in between. We're just gonna have to rent out a whole movie theater and like totally do this like for real, like and have
the Alamo. The Alamo.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, with food, right? Because we gotta eat. Love it. So fast 5-finger favorites, Coretta Graham. What do you consider your favorite song or something to listen to?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like R&B.
Ooh,
but so I listen to the R&B station, and see, I'm a '70s baby, even though I was born in '69. It's really, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Music, anything from the 70s and the 80s. I'm
like Tevin Campbell, Belvis DeVoe.
Anything.
Boys to Men. I'm thinking of what my brothers, because I'm thinking like that's what my brothers used to listen to, and they were like all into all of that, Yeah.
I like Superstition by Stevie Wonder. I can listen to that over and over again.
Yeah.
That song is prophetic.
Yeah. Very superstitious. Okay, I'm not even trying to sing. How could I have sang live on whatever this is globally? Oh my gosh, I am not a singer. What did I just do? Okay, we're going to now move into my favorite part of the Fast Five Finger Favorites, which is Coretta Graham. We are calling you the power-up hero of activism. We've just uncovered that your superpower is love. If the power-up hero of activism threw those covers off in the morning and had the most amazing morning routine, what would it be? Coretta Graham, how do you wake up to power up in the morning?
Wow. Very slowly. I basically will get up, go to the restroom, start my coffee, because, you know, I have a Keurig, and I'm working that thing. I may make some tea or some coffee, and I like that Texas pecan, and or pecan. And then I'll just, you know, woosah, take my vitamins, and definitely pick up my phone to see, you know, what calls I missed and my schedule for the day, and check my emails.
Love it. Oh my goodness. I love how you said, because I got a Keurig and I'm working that thing. I love that. You like coffee, and specifically the Texas pecan or pecan, however you say it. There's a lady who used to work at the office of when I used to work at the city, and she used to brew this hazelnut, and I guess, you know, it has maybe pecans in it. And I tell you, when she brewed this coffee, I felt energized, even if I hadn't even drank that coffee. It just smelled so good. Is that the kind of coffee you like?
Yeah, it's like if you brew a nice cup of coffee, man, that smell will just hit your senses, and you wake up.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the smell of coffee. I love coffee. So one of the so now we're done with Fast Five Finger Favorites. I want to thank you so much for playing that game with us. But one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, as being our, I guess, you know, you're here as an attorney, family law, criminal law. Can you tell us about maybe one of your toughest challenges in your career in terms of your work? Maybe a case that you had, or a situation where you were conflicted on how to react or act in a situation?
Well, in the field of criminal law, I would say my toughest cases are the ones that deal with sex offenses. Those are extremely difficult because your client 90% of the time is saying he's innocent and he didn't do it. So it's like, how do I prove it? You know, and so those are difficult cases. And I felt bad because I had this one trial that came down to DNA evidence, and it was just heart-wrenching because of the nature of the offense. He couldn't get probation, so it was terrible. And then in family law, it's always difficult when you're dealing with child protective service cases, and sometimes I represent the child, sometimes I represent the parents, and those are always difficult cases.
You know, you brought up a cause that actually activated my activism. CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocates, which is an organization that is national. It's a national organization. But I remember hearing about, remember Oprah when she did that Big Give show? She was like, Oprah's Big Give, whatever, right? And I remember thinking, why aren't we doing big gives in our communities? Because it seems so simple, right? She would just go to a community. What do you need? Let's give. And I remember contacting CASA. They had no idea, but I knew something about children I needed to give to children. And so have you ever worked with a CASA when you're working with the children that you are advocating for?
Yes. I've worked with, sometimes there's a CASA appointed to my case and sometimes it's not. And I was a CASA when I lived in Houston.
And so CASAs are volunteers who advocate for the child, so the child doesn't have to continuously keep having meetings with Coretta or continually keep having to go to court, right? They advocate on behalf of the child, right?
And
they're the ones.
Yeah, that's correct. And typically CASAs will stay with the child until they age out or whatever. Whereas if you're an attorney representing a child, your representation may end when there's either termination or return of the child to the parents. So you don't necessarily continue on with the child, whereas CASA can stay with the child their whole life.
Yeah. CASA, if you need a thing to do in your life, you need to be a volunteer for CASA. So just go to CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocates. It will be the best decision you have ever made in your entire life. Trust me, your life will be changed by even just scratching the surface of what CASA is all about. You don't have to be a volunteer advocating for a child, but you can also be a partner, which I am a strong partner of CASA, by advocating for all the things that they do. So when they have events, you're cross-posting for them or whatever else you can do. Because actually, I participated in one of the trainings and I felt like I couldn't be a CASA. It was actually heart-wrenching to hear about the atrocities that the children suffer, and I felt like I couldn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not for everybody. You really have to have the will, I should say, or the emotional strength to handle some of these type of cases. And I just wanted to add also on the probate side, I had a case where the gentleman came into my office just out of the blue because I don't know why I'm listed as legal aid in the phone book. I don't know why they do that. But he just came in. He thought I was legal aid. I wasn't. I tried to direct him to legal aid. But I said, if you can't get them, come back and I'll do your will for you. I did it for him. And less than a week later, I got a call from the medical examiner's office saying that he had passed away. And they found my card. And I was just, whoo.
What?
And this gentleman, he had no kids, no spouse. The nearest relative was maybe a sister in another state. And so he only had friends who were familiar with him out of Austin. But he was literally a loner, and he would ride around the country on his Harley. So that was definitely divine intervention that God sent him my way before he passed away.
How interesting. Oh my goodness. That is really scary.
Yeah.
So, Coretta, we have reached the end of this interview, and so I just want to bring in some of our guests who've been watching. Valerie says CASA is amazing. Yes, those of y'all watching right now, listening on your podcast, CASA is amazing. You need to go to CASA. And Valerie actually asked what law school you went to, and I think you said it was Thurgood Marshall.
Yes, Thurgood Marshall School of Law in Houston, Texas.
And I think for me personally, you've been such a joy to have on this show. So I just want to thank you so much for being so gracious with your time, your beautiful smile. I just feel so blessed that you're here. Coretta, you're making my dream come true. So I want you to think about yourself, Coretta, 5 to 10 years from now. Not sure if you're going to be our mayor or whatever is going on, but I want to hear from you. What do you see? Where do you see Coretta's future 5 to 10 years from now?
Well, I'm still going to be active in politics. I'm still going to be practicing law because I view my legal profession as a vocation, not just a paycheck. Still going to be involved with my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. Still going to be involved with the NAACP. So I'm still going to be involved with the community, just in different aspects. And like I just recently got elected as president of the Black Chamber of Commerce. So that's going to be my new project for the next 2 years.
I saw that. I was like, I saw all the emails coming. We had to vote and all this. And I was like, yay, Coretta. Boom, boom, boom. Fist bumps, hugs, whatever. You are a leader. And actually, congratulations also to Sylvia Tryon Oliver, who was our president forever, it felt like. So I want to thank her for her
Sylvia,
service.
you ain't going nowhere. You still on the board.
I know. She's still there. Oh my gosh. Do not go too far. We got you right here. So congratulations. And Valerie says, awesome work. You have excellent goals. We're just so excited you were here. So is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to share with our audience?
Yes. One of the things that I don't know where I learned it from, but someone had said to me, you know, write your own obituary. And what do you want it to say? And that can help you focus on, you know, what your calling is or what God is, you know, and pray, of course, prayer to get enlightenment, but, you know, it can focus you on what you need to be doing. So you're not, you know, you're using your time wisely.
Ooh, that is so good. So write your eulogy, like sit down and write what people would say about you after you're gone. Or what Caller Times would post about you in the newspaper if people read newspapers anymore. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, write it down and then live it, right? Live your eulogy. I love it. So if you write your eulogy and you're going to be 100 when you pass away, then you better live that life where you are 100 when you pass away, right? So I love it. There's so much wisdom in that. And so I want to thank you so much, Coretta, for being here with us on this PowerUp Hero show, pulling you away from an amazing event, which I wish I was at. Actually, they were streaming it live. So I was secretly watching it, and then I had to come here and interview you. So I can't wait to catch the entire recording later. But thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for being so active in our community. Thank you for continuing to be such a role model for a lot of us. I mean, I guess you could say like we're young activists, right? We're trying, but you're in there. So we're all just there behind you. If you had a cape, we would be holding your cape for you, okay? And we would be making sure that it looks beautiful because you do such amazing work. Love that your superpower is love, because I really think that you do embody that, and you really do show how love for self and love for community will power you up. So thank you, Coretta. Thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Yeah. One thing I didn't ask you is if people wanted to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
lawyergraham@gmail.com.
All right. lawyergraham@gmail.com. Okay, we will make sure that people have access to that. So in the comments, we will be able to let people know how to get in touch with you. Okay, bye again, Coretta. See you.
See
Bye.
you.
Bye. What an amazing show we had. I am so thrilled that I got to interview Coretta Graham, and you have no idea how long I have just been in awe of this amazing woman. She's really, truly a pillar in our community. And so when I think of power, when I think in believing in my power, believing in our power, you know, I think the goal here is that you see people who you can aspire to be like. One of our pillars, I guess you could say, of our PowerUp Delta is modeling. And so modeling means finding something that is working for somebody else and seeing how you can activate that. And so one of the things that I want to activate in my life is Coretta's presence, her confidence, her ability to show up in the room and literally take over the room. That is what she does. And so I want to be able to just channel that. And so I hope you enjoyed the show today. One of the things that came to mind as we were watching the beginning of this show was some quotes that were said. And so I'm just thinking through, like John Lewis said, that we are not going back, we are going forward. I think that's one thing that I find that Coretta always speaks about, which is anything that you're doing today is really a foundation of the struggles that other people have paved the way for you, right? So other people came, they paved the way for you. Those struggles are for something. And so right now you may not be in the position you want to be, but just think about your future generations capitalizing on the fact that you've gone as far as you could, and they're going to take it from there. So I think that's also part of our work. It's about our legacy. We have to keep it going, right? And we have to keep showing up no matter what. And that's what this show is about. This show is about being a PowerUp hero. One of the things I was thinking about recently was how, you know, we have to have purpose, but sometimes we can't be stopped by things that show up that are unexpected. Like we had coronavirus show up. Don't let that stop you. We actually had quarantine, right? So Corona showed up, then you had quarantine, and then people were like shutting down because of it. Don't let that stop you. Don't let things like a blizzard that you had no idea was going to happen stop you, right? Try to persevere through that. See that as an opportunity to learn. And one of the things I can say is here in Corpus Christi, we had the water boil. And one of my really good friends who is part of my sphere of influence, Leticia Wilson, who actually was on our show as a PowerUp Hero, she sent me this text message, and I have to read it to you, and I made notes to make sure to read it to you. She talked about how the lessons learned from this week for her were sometimes you gotta power down to power up, right? So I'm sure you had lessons learned from the fact that we had no power, okay? So take that into mind. Getting back to basics. Oh my goodness, y'all. I don't want to tell you my story about my fireplace, but my good friends know that story. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. And if it doesn't kill you, it makes you a better person. Nothing more to be said. We are all good because of the challenges we face. So I'm so excited that you were here listening to the show. And I'm also super excited that you're hopefully going to take the lessons learned today and see how you can live your best life through activism and through love through our PowerUp Hero, Coretta Graham. If you are listening to this show and you feel like you could be a PowerUp Hero on this show, we want to hear from you. We want you to go to our podcast page, which is www.poweruphero.org. Once again, it's www.poweruphero.org. We want you on the show. We want your positive attitude. And we want you to be bold and nominate yourself because we know you're remarkable and you are amazing. And we want to hear about your commitment to being a hero in our community. Again, that website is www.poweruphero.org. I'm Lisa Wisner. And wherever you are watching right now, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit at least one like. We had a few views, a bunch of views later, but please like the show. Please share it with your family and friends. And we are everywhere. So if you have an Alexa or on your phone, on any other device, please make sure you let them know that you want to hear the PowerUp Hero show, because anywhere and everywhere you want to tune in, we're here to help you get educated, to help inspire you, and help encourage you, not only for yourself, but for our community, but also for your career and for the work that you want to do to serve the world into our future. I hope you got some lessons today, and I hope that, I wrote a bunch of notes down, but the most important note I wanted to mention is that you have to go beyond having low self-esteem. You have to go into love, and you have to figure out a way to encourage yourself. And I think it's not about not leaning on to people, but it's about finding a way where you're able to capitalize on the strength that you can find within yourself, right? So having that fortitude to be able to reach deep and be able to bring it when you need it, be able to power up when you need it, because that's what it's all about, because our world needs heroes today more than ever before. I'm Lisa Wisner, and I want to leave you with this really amazing video courtesy of Google. I want to thank Google so much for being such an amazing support system in our community, and they made an amazing video about history makers in our community. And as we celebrate Black History Month, I hope you have an amazing Saturday, a warm Saturday hopefully, because you got your power back. But I hope you make it a powered up Saturday where you're activating your community with the passions that you have. Bye.
I'm telling y'all already.
But just like life. All right.
Air Jordan ready to take off.
Can I get an amen? And welcome to the very first National Oprah Winfrey Show!
We'll be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and sisters and brothers.